lost the love of my life, Emma. The sound of the rain against my window was my only companion as I scrolled through old photos on my phone. The city seemed so lonely tonight, each raindrop a tiny reminder of the emptiness inside. That was until I stumbled upon a photo I hadn't seen in years. It was from a summer long ago at the beach. In the picture, I was standing next to Emma, both of us grinning like fools, the setting sun casting a golden glow over everything. I could almost feel the warmth of that day again, the sand between my toes, and the soft murmur of the waves. Emma and I met in college. She was studying marine biology, and I was an aspiring writer. We were an unlikely pair from the start. She was all science and logic, while I lived in a world of imagination and words. Our paths crossed at a campus poetry reading. I was on stage, nervously clutching my notebook, and she was in the audience, a quiet observer. After my reading, she approached me. "I liked your poem," she said simply. Her eyes were like the ocean, deep and full of mysteries. "Thanks," I replied, trying not to let my voice shake. "It's not every day you get compliments from a marine biologist." We laughed, and that was the beginning. We spent the next few months exploring the city together, getting to know each other's worlds. She taught me about sea creatures and ecosystems, and I read her my stories and poems. Every moment with her felt like a discovery. One night, as we lay on a blanket under the stars, Emma turned to me and said, "You know, I think love is a lot like the ocean." "How so?" I asked, tracing patterns in the sky with my finger. "It's vast and deep, sometimes calm and sometimes stormy, but it's always there, always powerful." I looked into her eyes and saw the truth in her words. Love was like the ocean, beautiful, unpredictable, and endlessly fascinating. We moved in together after graduation, a tiny apartment by the sea. Our days were filled with laughter and learning, and our nights with whispered dreams and tender kisses. I was working on my first novel, and she was conducting research on coral reefs. Life was perfect, or so it seemed. Emma had a habit of collecting seashells, each one a tiny memento of a moment we shared. She kept them in a glass jar on the windowsill, where they caught the sunlight and cast little rainbows around the room. Every now and then, she'd pick one up, hold it to her ear, and say she could hear the ocean. I loved watching her do that. It was a reminder that even the smallest things could hold vast worlds within them. Then, one day, everything changed. Emma was diagnosed with a rare and aggressive form of cancer. Our world, once so vibrant and full of promise, became a blur of hospital rooms and treatments. I watched helplessly as the light in her eyes dimmed, and her body grew weaker. But even in those darkest days, Emma remained strong. "The ocean never gives up," she would say, squeezing my hand. "Neither should we." We fought together, but in the end, the ocean claimed her. Emma passed away on a rainy afternoon, much like tonight. I was by her side, holding her hand, whispering stories of our adventures until her last breath. In the years since her death, I've tried to move on, but the pain of losing her never truly faded. I finished my novel, dedicating it to her, and it became a bestseller. People loved the story of our love, but they didn't know the true depth of it. The true heartache. Tonight, as I looked at that photo, a realization washed over me. Emma's love was like the ocean, boundless and eternal. It was still with me, in every raindrop, in every wave that crashed against the shore. I closed my eyes and let the memories flood back, the laughter, the tears, the love that was as vast and deep as the sea. And in that moment, I knew that Emma was right. Love, like the ocean, never truly dies. It becomes a part of us, a force that shapes our lives forever. I got up and walked to the window, the rain still falling softly. "I miss you, Emma," I whispered to the night. "But I'll keep swimming, just like you taught me." And for the first time in a long while, I felt a sense of peace. Because I knew that no matter where I went, a part of her would always be with me, guiding me through the waves. A week after that rainy night, I found myself walking along the same beach where that photo had been taken. The sun was setting, casting a golden glow over the water. It felt like a lifetime ago, and yet the memories were as fresh as if they had happened yesterday. I sat down on the sand, watching the waves roll in and out. Each one felt like a whisper from Emma, reminding me of our time together. I reached into my pocket and pulled out a seashell, one of Emma's favorites that I had kept. Holding it to my ear, I closed my eyes and listened. The sound of the ocean was soothing, a reminder of the endless cycle of life and love. It was in that moment that I realized something profound. Emma's love hadn't just stayed with me, it had become a part of me. It was in the stories I wrote, the way I saw the world, and the person I had become. As the sun dipped below the horizon, I felt a sense of calm wash over me. The pain of losing Emma would never completely go away, but it had become a part of the tapestry of my life, woven into every thread of my being. And that was okay, because love, true love, leaves an indelible mark on our souls. I stood up and brushed the sand off my jeans. The night was coming, and the first stars were beginning to appear in the sky. I took one last look at the ocean, feeling a deep connection to it and to Emma. "Thank you," I whispered, my voice carried away by the wind, "for everything." As I walked back to my car, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. There were more stories to write, more adventures to be had. And though Emma was no longer by my side, she would always be a part of my journey. Back in the city, life continued its relentless pace. I threw myself into my writing, pouring my heart and soul into every word. My next book was a tribute to Emma, a story about love, loss, and the enduring power of the human spirit. It was well received, touching the hearts of millions of readers around the world. Through the years, I found solace in sharing our story. People would write to me, telling me how our love had inspired them, how it had given them hope. It was a reminder that Emma's legacy lived on, not just in my heart, but in the hearts of everyone who had been touched by our story. One particularly memorable letter came from a young woman who had just lost her husband to cancer. She wrote about how my book had helped her through her darkest days, giving her the strength to carry on. Her words moved me deeply, a testament to the ripple effect of love and kindness. Emma had once told me that the ocean never gives up, and neither should we. Those words had become my mantra, guiding me through the storms of life. They reminded me that even in the face of loss, there is always hope, always a reason to keep going. Years passed, and life continued its ebb and flow. I met someone new, a kind and gentle soul who understood the depth of my love for Emma and embraced it. We built a life together, one filled with love and laughter, honoring the past while creating new memories. But no matter how much time went by, a part of me would always be with Emma, walking along that beach, listening to the whispers of the waves. Her love was like the ocean, vast and eternal, a force that shaped my life and would continue to do so forever. And so I kept swimming just as she had taught me,